Hey there. So today we're going to talk about how to draw faces. We're going to talk about how to create the correct facial proportions. Proportions mean that all of the different parts of a whole make sense together. And what that means is if I'm drawing a face, the noses and the eyes and the mouth, all those different parts, they have to make sense with each other based on their placement and their size and the way they're drawn. And if you have like one eye that is in the middle of the forehead, that's out of proportion. If you have your lips that are way too big, that's way out of proportion. So you want all of the features of your face, not to look like this Picasso-esque style face, but to look like they are in proportion. So first off, we're just going to talk about general proportions. Step one, draw an oval. In this video, we're just going to talk about where things go. So you start with an oval. This may or may not look like your face, but we just need a place to start. This is going to be the place where we begin to lay out our features, and later on we will refine. Almost every line you draw will be erased and refined at some point. So once you've drawn your oval, which is the approximate shape of a head, I'm going to draw a line of symmetry down the middle. Now you could use a ruler for that, or just freehand it. It doesn't matter. Most of that line will be erased later. I'm going to now divide this in half horizontally. Again, most of that will be erased later. This line down the center vertical, this is your line of symmetry, which means on either side of that line, you have eyes, sides of the nose, and sides of the mouth, and ears and eyebrows all placed symmetrically. So what's happening on one side is a mirror image on the other. This line across here, this is actually your eye line. So people might think it is the nose line because when we think of faces, we think of noses as being in the middle. But if you look at this as the top of your head, the very top of like your hair, and then this is your chin, right in the middle is your eye line. In fact, like if you were to like measure out between the top of your head and your eyes, and then keep your hands frozen and then move down to where your eyes, the distance between your eyes and your chin, just kind of move those fingers, it's going to be about the same distance. Okay, so next step. This is the eye line. I'm going to divide the space below in about half. About half. That's probably going to adjust a little bit. This is going to be your nose line. And then I'm going to divide that bottom space a little bit in half, erring a little on the side of being higher than halfway down, and that is your mouth line. Okay, so a couple other things. Let's talk about how to divide the eyes. Eyes are the same distance from corner to corner. So when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about corner to corner of your eye. If I were to put my fingers like this on either side of my eye and keep them frozen and put them in between my two eyes, I think you can see this on the webcam. This is the same distance. So in between the eyes is the same distance as an eye length. So what that means is you also have some space on either side. If I divide this line in 5 equal sizes, I'm going to have a place for my eye, plus the space on either side of the eye, plus about the same distance in between the eyes. So I've tried to divide that fairly evenly, and the space of the length of an eye is also the distance between the two eyes. That's where your eyes are going to go. Your nose, if you go straight down from the inside corners of your eyes, you can do that with your fingers if you don't believe me, just straight down the center of your face on the, if you put your fingers on the inside corners of your eyes, go straight down, that's where the outsides of your nose are going to be. And about in the middle of your eyes, if you go straight down from each eye, again, you can do this on yourself. Just take your hands and go straight down from the center of your eye. You're going to find the corners of your lips. So I know where my eyes are going to go. I know where my nose is going to go. I know where my mouth is going to go. I'm going to erase some extra lines. So I have a sort of linear face. I'm going to erase that space in between. So I have eyes. I look like a little weird robot, but I have eyes, nose, mouth. Your neck usually starts right about the place where your where your mouth line hits the side of your head. This is about where your jaw is. And we often want to make our necks really teeny tiny. Like if I tried to make my neck like that, that would not hold up a head, but that's what we tend to do sometimes, especially in cartoons. Your neck is actually much wider. It's about at the jaw, which is where the mouth meets the side of the head. And a lot of times, some of that is covered up by hair, so it looks a little bit thinner. That is, in fact, where your neck is. It's just a couple inches long. It's usually wider and shorter than we think. And then your hairline. So halfway between that eye line and the top of your head, I'm going to make a mark, and that's about where your hairline is. And if you go kind of straight across and then dive down to that eye line, that's your hairline. And then lastly, before we end this video and just give you some time to get these general proportions down, your ears. Your ears are going to be between the eye line and about right in between the nose and mouth. And when we make an ear, the tendency is to want to do something like that because that is the shape of your ear. But that's not the shape you see from the front. What you really see from the front is more like a flattened C, like that. So I'm going to make my ear go from that eye line down to the nose line, and I'm going to make that flattened C so that the top part of the C hits the eye line, the bottom part of the C hits the nose line. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, those, that was too big. Those are going to be adjusted later. And again, a lot of times you're going to have hair over that. But this is the general placeholders for all of your features. That mouth looks a little bit wide. We're probably going to edit that a little bit. The nose might be a little bit high or a little bit low. We're going to edit that a little bit. But the first thing you have to know is where everything goes and about what size they are. So this is an approximate guideline for facial proportions. And in the next video, we'll talk about actually drawing those features on.